Hello, Jen here, and I have a layout for you for the Love of Crafting and Sharing YouTube collaboration. So this month we are sharing our love of die cuts, all kinds of die cuts, whether it is die cuts that have come in ephemera packs that are pre-cut for you. Maybe they're part of a collection or they're just, a specific theme. You're going to see a bunch of those getting used up here. Manual die cuts from a manual die cutting machine, or even electronic cut file die cuts. Whatever it is you have, you're going to see tons of inspiration on how to get those used up. I have all of the above. I love using die cuts. I always have them in my layouts. They're just those really fun kind of unique little elements that you can use to tuck in behind things and layer up things. And if you have an electronic die cutting machine, the sky's the limit. You can create your own cut files. You can get free cut files. You can purchase cut files right from Cricut or Silhouette, or even personal designers who create them. So there's all kinds of things that you can do with these files. And so my favorite, I think, is just having these elements to kind of layer and build these little clusters. But I love making them part of every layout that I do. So I'm also going to be following a sketch this month. When I saw this sketch at the beginning of the month, when Christy shared all of the sketches for her 30 days of sketches for the month of October, I loved this one. I thought it was perfect. It has the leaves in it, and it's just a really cute design. Something really simple that you can kind of pull together really easily. Oh, that was my son's homework peeking in there. When you're homeschooling, you gotta find that balance, right? So they're usually doing work while I'm scrapbooking. But anyways, yeah, I just really liked this one. So I kind of tucked it away, and I knew I probably wasn't going to do it on the day that it was meant to be done. So this was her sketch for the 16th. And obviously today is not the 16th, but I thought it would work out really good with a kit like I'm using, because my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit, this fall kit, is no longer full collections. It's just little bits and pieces. There's some 6x6 papers. There is some bits and pieces of 12x12 papers, and just lots of different things all kind of squished together. It changes every year as I find new little elements to throw in there. And as I'm adding things, I'm also using things up. And so I thought that this was kind of a fun one to just throw in a couple of patterns of paper. So you get 4 patterns there, and then a few little spots to embellish. And I also knew I had that background paper that kind of has that sketchy border around it. So when I saw that in the sketch, I thought, okay, this works really good. It's all coming together. So basically, I pulled out that piece of paper. It comes from a 12x12 paper pad that I think I must have gotten five or 6 years ago at least. It was sort of a Halloween and autumn themed paper pad. It was a Michael's Hot Buy, and it just reminded that kind of sketchy, border around the papers in the sketch reminded me of this. So I pulled that out, and then I have these 4 pieces of pattern paper. One of them also comes from that same paper pad, this leaf one that I'm putting down right now. 2 of them come from the Woodland Forest, which is from Pebbles. And then that top orange one has leaves on it, and that's actually from Wild Whisper. So lots of different collections going into this. And then where my first die cuts are coming in is actually that piece of paper I used as a stencil. So that is quite old. I think I probably cut those out 2 or 3 years ago. And then I just kind of thought it would work as a stencil, and I threw it in the kit, and it's been sitting in there ever since. And so I thought that's one way to kind of use a cut file that's a little bit different. So you're using the negative space to kind of get that image. And because the sketch had a little bit of these smudges that kind of reminded me of mixed media, or I guess it kind of prompts you or encourages you to maybe try some mixed media there. So I thought it would be fun to pull out my distress inks and do a little bit of mixed media with that cut file. So I just took my blending tool and blended some yellows and some orange and some red through that, I guess, stencil that I created to get those leaves in roughly the same place as the embellishment clusters I thought where they might go. I kind of like that I didn't end up putting the embellishment clusters right over top of all of that stenciling, because then you can really see it down at the bottom. So it kind of overlaps it a little bit on that bottom right hand side, and then it doesn't overlap it at all on that very bottom left hand side, and then up at the top it's they're kind of together, but you can still see it. So in my mind, that all kind of worked out. And then you can see here I'm using other die cuts that again are just a mishmash from different collections. There is some pebbles in there and some simple stories, and those really big leaves that I'm using as sort of my base for my clusters. Those actually are from K & Company, from Dollarama, if you can believe it. I think that when I bought these 2 or 3 years ago, I think they were $2, and I got a big pack of like 65 die cuts of leaves. So you can actually see other ones beside my hand on the right hand side there. I ended up not using those ones. They're a little bit more realistic looking. I kind of just went for the sparkly ones, and I really only have the big ones left because they came in all different sizes, and the small ones I found really easy to use. So those have mostly been used up, but I have these really big ones left over, and this just was kind of the right place to create these big leaf clusters and a little pop of that orange glitter. I don't know, it just was a really nice kind of touch. It brightens up the pictures, I think. And then I'm also tucking in there some wood veneer and a little bit of table scatter. So it's actually just that like a package almost like you would get of sequins or fun little images like that you might scatter on a tabletop or put into a card or that kind of thing. And so there are these cute little vellum leaves, red maple leaves and brown kind of, I don't know, like an oak leaf or something like that. I put a little wagon in there too, and kind of used some of the red maple leaves to kind of poke out the top of the wagon, and then I tucked in that little die cut piece that says I love autumn. So that's sort of my title. It's not really in the same spot as in the sketch, but that's okay. I just thought it was kind of a cute little thing to tuck in there. At first I thought I might put it down at the bottom, but then I kind of like everything just really clustered right around those pictures so that they stand out and you can really, your eye really takes those all in. And so yeah, I just tucked those in. I used some freckled fawn cork leaves that have the outline of the leaf is in gold. So again, in the same way that I'm kind of using the glitter from the big leaves to kind of brighten everything up, I thought that little pop of gold would just look really nice and shimmery and shiny like leaves do. And so here I'm going to put another little sketchy line right around the, I guess you could say the main cluster that's right in the center here of all the pattern papers. I'm even outlining the leaves that I put down there with the distress ink, and that comes directly from the sketch itself. And I just wanted to add that extra element because I felt like now, I don't know, it just looks much more intentional. It doesn't look like it's kind of just floating in the center there. And then I'm going to finish everything off with a nice splattering of some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in gold. And that's it. This really pulled together so quickly. Like I said, you know, the sketch just, for whatever reason, it really clicked with me. I really liked it. So as soon as I saw it, I knew I was going to be able to kind of pull everything together. And I think that leaves are just one of those elements that you can layer up and they all look good no matter what style or color or whatever they might be. So I love how this turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please check out all the links below for everyone else who's part of the collaboration today. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.